What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Sixers versus Raptors pregame number 2, going down in just about an hour. I am putting on the music. We are back. Joining me, my man, he is Mike Small. Follow him on Twitter at RealMikeSmall. He is the host of the Killing Me Smalls podcast. Please be sure to check that out wherever you get your podcasts. What's going on, Mike?
Dodge, I'm so happy to be here right now. Man, you and I created the mojo after game 1. And honestly, I challenge anybody to go back and listen to that podcast that we did in the pregame. We got so many things right. And now let's see if we can screw it up on this one.
No, man. We're going to keep getting things right. We're going to keep that mojo flowing. Let's get into game 2. What's your vibe? What do you think is going to happen tonight?
I'm a little nervous. And let me just tell you why. Let me tell you why.
Sure.
I texted you this today. When the Sixers, when the national media and the local media and the fans zig, the Sixers zag. So everybody was like, oh my God, Harden's washed. We're not going to beat the Raptors. It's a terrible matchup. Beat the crap out of them by 20. Now, they got 3 guys out, including their prized rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Doc Rivers cracked the code with Maxey and Tobias Harris. This one's going to be easy. Now, I just heard Rich Hoffman say on the radio that he believes the Sixers win in 5. That scares me. That scares me. I'm very concerned. Because I just need even vibes. Can't get too high or too low.
Yeah. I hear you. I absolutely hear you. Like pretty much everything that could have aligned and went perfect for the Sixers did on Saturday night. The Toronto Raptors are one of the best, if not the best, offensive rebounding team in the NBA. The Sixers dominated them on the glass. The Toronto Raptors are one of the best teams at generating turnovers. The Sixers barely turned over the ball. For a majority of the game, they had 0 turnovers. But then the game kind of was a little out of reach in that fourth quarter. There was a few turnovers. And you look at, transition buckets, the Sixers had more fast break points than the Toronto Raptors. They literally beat them in all 3 facets in game 1. Doc Rivers deserves a ton of credit for getting this team ready. I put videos on this channel. You could see at nearly every missed shot, there was 4 Sixers in the paint, crashing the glass, avoiding the Raptors from getting second chance opportunities. I think they only had 10 second chance points in game 1. That is an unbelievable number considering that was truly one of the Sixers' Achilles heels the entire regular season was giving up second chance points, giving up offensive rebounds to teams. That is the bread and butter of the Toronto Raptors, is getting more field goal attempts than their opponent, and the Sixers locked them out. Top to bottom, it was a huge home run for the Sixers in game 1, man. But I disagree, man. I think this points to a game 2 victory for the Sixers. I don't see really what it comes down to. I just don't see the Raptors guards being able to stay in front of Tyrese Maxey, James Harden. The way they were able to penetrate was awesome. And I think, where do the Raptors go from here? What adjustments need to be made? I think for me, it starts with Pascal Siakam. It starts with OG Anunoby. And it starts with those 2 getting into the paint, driving into the paint, and getting kind of the Sixers' wings. They're not athletic. They don't have length. Getting those guys moving left to right and getting into the paint and converting. Because you look at Pascal Siakam, he only had 1 attempt. He only had 1 attempt inside the paint in the first half. He got much more success in that second half when he got going a little bit, but it was too little, too late. I expect Nick Nurse to get Pascal Siakam more aggressive and OG Anunoby more aggressively going towards the basket. That's my kind of guess. But honestly, I don't think it's enough. I just don't. At the end of the day, I think Toby is locked in. At the end of the day, I think Tyrese Maxey is too fast for this Toronto Raptors backcourt. I'm feeling really good, man. I'm feeling really good.
I got 2 things I have to contribute from that awesome rant you just gave. First of all, you talked yourself into the Sixers winning, then you talked yourself out of it, and then you talked yourself right back into it, all within a 3-minute rant. Second of all, I just need to say, That was actually kind of awesome, to be honest with you. Then I just want to say that anybody who's a Sixers fan that does not follow you on Twitter and watch your video breakdowns after games is crazy, because it's like sitting with the coaches afterward and you can see exactly what happens. I look forward to them, and I'm not just saying this because I like you, but I actually really, really enjoy that. Now, that being said, Nick Nurse bet the farm that Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris would not beat the Sixers. And quite frankly, I might have made that same bet on Tobias Harris for sure. Tobias Harris played the best game I've ever seen him play. Ever. I've seen him score 30-something points before, but I've never seen him that efficient, that smart, and even more importantly, dude played some defense. Now, did he lock down Pascal Siakam? No. He's not going to. And you know what? They don't expect him to. But what does he do? He makes it to the point where the Sixers don't have to have Embiid leave his man to go cover Siakam. And then Embiid could just be the monster in the paint that he is. And, honestly, Embiid was 5 for 15? But it was one of the better games I've seen him play.
Ever.
His passing was amazing. His defense was amazing. He rebounded everything. He got offensive rebounds. He prevented offensive rebounds. And his defense on the help side, as well as nobody was going to dunk. It was one of the better, the most dominating games I've ever seen. Let me give you an example. This is how you can tell. My father-in-law has never watched a Sixers game. He was over Saturday night. My wife and the kids are dying Easter eggs. So my father, I'm like, come on, watch a game with me, right? He was an old high school basketball coach. He's one of those guys that's like, I hate the pros. All it is one-on-one, and nobody passes. I was like, you know what? Do me a favor. Sit down and watch number 21. It was the first time he's ever watched a Sixers game, and he's seeing him Euro step. And I was like, have you ever seen a big man do that? No. Have you ever seen a big man pass like that? No. He can shoot threes. He's not doing it well tonight. He can shoot. Have you ever seen that before? He's like, oh my God, he's Elijah Wan and Ewing as a guard. I'm like, yes, that's what he is. And that's exactly what he was. And it was so much fun to see it through his eyes. But even more importantly, going into this game. So if you're Nick Nurse, you're saying, okay, Maxey killed us. Is that going to happen again? Is he going to get 30? He may get 20-something points and hit some threes, but he's never going to do that again.
Yeah.
Tobias Harris, we let him alone. Can we expect that again? Probably not. Now, we don't have Scotty Barnes. We don't have Thad Young.
It's big.
That's big. That's big. But so what does it mean? The guys are going to have to play more minutes. Now, the Sixers can attack Fred VanVleet, right? Maxey did it. Harden did it.
They did.
So it's going to be really interesting. I think Nick Nurse was kind of laying back a little bit just to see if we can play him straight up. What does it look like? And I think you're going to see all the crazy adjustments in this game. We're going to see the triangle and 2 on Harden and Embiid. I got to think Danny Green's going to give you a little bit more than he gave you last time. I can't expect the same thing from Maxey and Tobias, but I got to expect more from Embiid in this game. And you know what? I think they're just going to try to turn Harden into a jump shooter and see what happens. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting. I know I've been rambling for a while, but this decides the series, really. If Toronto steals this and goes back home with some confidence, could be interesting. The Sixers win, go 2-0, just have to take one in Toronto, it's over. So that's the way I see it.
Yeah, you were kind of nervous about this game during the Game 1 pregame show. You were not nervous about Game 1. You called it.
I thought they'd have all the energy.
You called a blowout Sixers win in Game 1. Your concern was Game 2 and Nick Nurse adjusting to Doc Rivers after Game 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I fully agree. I think Nick Nurse is going to run everything, rotate everything to Tyrese Maxey and force James Harden to be a jump shooter. I have the stats here. James Harden is a 32.6% shooter from 3 in the catch and shoot. I'm trying to think of ways that Nick Nurse can make adjustments here. Like I guess if the refs are kind of softer tonight and don't call fouls like they did, especially in that first half, like that truly got under the skin of the Toronto Raptors from like Fred VanVleet and everyone else. Like that was clearly bothering them. That changed the game big time. And what's that going to look like? I mean, Nick Nurse is probably still complaining about the refs heading into game 2. That's all he's been doing the last 24, 48 hours here. So for me,
he's using the Phil Jackson, Pat Riley playbook, right?
Yeah.
After game 1, you start really going crazy, protecting your guys, blaming it on the refs, and you're setting the refs up for game 2 so that Embiid's going to get every ticky-tack foul, and VanVleet is not going to have 2 fouls in the first minute of the game. So he's doing the right thing. It's straight out of the Pat Riley, Phil Jackson playbook.
Yeah, totally. But Tobias Harris has been playing pretty well over the last month. So I'm hoping that continues. For me, it's Paul Reed. The fact that you can have Joel Embiid off the court, hold the lead, and build on the lead is a thing that we haven't seen from a Sixers basketball team in a long, long time. Here's some more stats for you, dude. Here are Paul Reed's last 4 games, 13 minutes per game. He's a plus 23, 6.0 net, 98 defensive rating, holding opponents to 111 from 3. Paul Reed, the Sixers are a plus 1 in the first half in 5 games versus the Raptors. And then Paul Reed is a plus 5 in the second half. So
it took 59 games. It took what?
Exactly.
79 games to make this experiment.
That's another thing. That's another podcast. We'll talk about building Paul Reed and Charles Bassey for this playoff rotation on another show. But that's what it is, man. They should have been prepping for this. But it's working. It's working. The Sixers were a big-time plus. Well, not big-time, but like a +4 with Paul Reed, especially in that first half. It was an amazing thing, man. You think, we're expecting to see Paul Reed in game 2, right?
Let me just tell you something. If DeAndre Jordan comes trotting out to the scorer's table with 2 minutes left in the first quarter, you thought what Boston did to Kyrie Irving was bad yesterday. What's going to happen? The building is going to collapse. Trust me. There is no. If DeAndre Jordan should just wear street clothes today, there's no shot.
No, there's no shot. It's going to be Paul Reed. Kevin says, let's go Sixers. Bring the house, boys. My buddy's down there. That house is going to be rocking tonight. Kevin says, tonight's the night for the others to contribute outside of Tyrese. I'm sure a lot of focus was given on Tyrese on the off day, so I think Joel will have a big game tonight. And Kevin says, B-ball Paul, B-ball Paul. Man, I want all the B-ball Paul chants tonight. But I think at the end of the day, it really comes down to the Sixers starters just being an overwhelmingly better squad than the Toronto Raptors. You look at the Sixers starting rotation against the Raptors here. 17, where is it? Oh, I just got rid of it. Hold on. There it is. 17.1 net against the Toronto Raptors. Like if Embiid, Harden, Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey, and Tobias Harris play heavy minutes, like I don't know what the answer is for the Toronto Raptors, especially when you're a positive with Embiid off the court. Like I don't know how they adjust other than focus on Maxey, hope James Harden misses and bricks a ton, like gives you one of those Trae Young games. But outside of that, like I think the Sixers got it, man. I agree. I think it's going to be a totally different environment context when they get to Toronto in game 3. But for me, I'm going to Sixers dub.
This is what scares me. I mean, you played Toronto, a week and a half ago, and they were without Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby. The Sixers are trying to grab that 3 seed. And what do? They lay an egg. There's something about when they have a mental advantage going into a game. I don't know if it's that they lay back. I don't know if it's coaching. I don't know what it is, but it gets me nervous. Like if they're all geared up to play a big team, the Brooklyn game aside, if they're all geared up to play a big team, a big time team, and it's a big time game and everybody's ready to go on both sides, they bring it. But for some reason, I don't know what it is, but when they have an advantage, they're missing something.
Yeah, I just think this team's locked in, man. I just think this team's locked in from Harden and Embiid. I think this is a different year. And I think Doc Rivers is scared to death of being outcoached by Nick Nurse, and this is probably the most prepared he's ever been for a playoff series because he's going to get his ass handed to him if he didn't, because Nick Nurse is that good. But talking about Nick Nurse here, from Kyle Newbeck, amazing Sixers Twitter follow. Nick Nurse continued his stump speech regarding the officials pregame tonight. There it is. Said there were elbows and an open hand slap from the Sixers in the first game that went uncalled. I hope they have enough guts to at least stop the game and look at that stuff tonight.
Well, Will Smith does own a piece of the Sixers, right?
So that's the best comment of the night. Will Smith is like, keep my center.
I don't even know where to go from there. I apologize.
Yeah. Will Smith is reading that comment and going, keep my motherfucking center out of your mouth. I love it. Will Smith in the house talking shit about Nick Nurse.
Oh,
I gotta love it. That's awesome. I'm tired of it. That's what it is. Like, you have two of the biggest foul getters pretty much in Joel Embiid and James Harden of all time. Like, they're going to be up there, man. They're among the top of the NBA, first and fourth in total personal fouls. And that is the Sixers' bread and butter. So sorry, Toronto, for not being able to, things didn't go well according to your game plan, but things did for the Philadelphia 76ers. Do better, Nick Nurse. Do better.
There's a Sixers insider who I had a conversation with. It was last year, who said, watch Doc Rivers during a game. If he's bitching like crazy early on, he's not confident in the game, and he's trying to get all over the refs and get as much as he can. It's very interesting. I have watched that, and there is a little bit of truth to that. I was thinking about this when you made that comment a little while ago about Doc Rivers being more prepared than ever. And look, I don't think Doc's great. I don't think he's the worst. He's fine. He's very pig-headed and he's arrogant, but I don't think he's the worst coach. And I definitely don't think he's a genius. But if you want to talk about cementing your legacy, if this dude gets by Nick Nurse, then Eric Spoelstra, then beats the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks to get to the finals, I don't think anyone's going to give him a hard time anymore for the rest of his career. Now, if he gets up 3-1 and blows this thing, then, then there you go.
Yeah, let's be real here. I think the Sixers are going to go 2-0 here going into game 3, but regardless of if they win game 3, it doesn't matter. This is Doc Rivers. Like, the resume
ain't over till it's over.
The data is all there. It's a win one game at a time mentality. I think for all Sixers fans, at least for Doc Rivers, it should be, because of everything that we have seen in the past. I'm not going to go through all that.
Speaking of the past, though, wasn't there a certain comfort level that you had in the fourth quarter? I think at some point in the third, I think it got cut down to 11. Wasn't there a comfort level thinking that, you know what? You can foul any of these guys, and I have confidence in them taking a free throw. And I know that sounds silly, but my God, that's important. And the fact that, you can sag off of my point guard and he's going to shoot a 3. I know the Sixers miss Voldemort, he who shall not be named, on defense. But, man, it's just really nice not having to worry about covering for his ass on offense. And worrying about the schemes that, we can't put in Thibault or Dwight Howard, who's not on the team anymore, because you can't have two of them on the court together. And it's just nice having somewhat of a normal team, especially when you have a wing that can create like Tyrese Maxey, and that just blows the whole thing open. That was just great.
That was
it. Were you thinking about that at all during the game?
Yeah, I mean, I was comfy cozy in the fourth quarter. Like, it was like that third quarter, that 21-point performance by Tyrese Maxey was some of the most fun Sixers basketball. I was on a group chat with my boys, and we were watching the game. We were screaming, running around. Like, that 3-pointer he had from like Steph Curryland was unbelievable. In that fourth quarter, like, it was really just me prepping for the post game show. Like I was just catching up on all my notes and stats from the game. It was great, man. It was nice to see.
Hey, wait a minute. We're supposed to prepare for these things? No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
It was nice to see Doc, like, for once, literally, be like 2 steps ahead of the opponent, man. The way we talked about this during game 1 pregame show. Like, sometimes the best defense is the best offense. That Cobra Kai offense mentality for the Sixers. And what Doc did was bring Joel Embiid and put him on the perimeter, and that pulled the paint. That made the paint much more open than it has been in the past. Because in the previous 4 games, we've just seen Embiid double team, triple team, and just smother him and rotate all of their guys, their wings and big men to Joel Embiid, and it left the paint wide open, not for only Tyrese Maxey and James Harden to penetrate and score, but to set each other up. Like, there were so many. The ball movement was terrific, man. Corner threes from Tobias Harris, corner threes from Danny Green, and everyone else. Everyone was clicking, man. It was a thing of beauty. We haven't seen that good of a Sixers win in a while. When everything works.
Not since Game 5 in Toronto 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
Remember Embiid with the airplane? Wasn't that Game 5?
Yeah, that alley-oop, man. That was not like. So there's.
Hey, so think about what we talked about last game, though. Before last game, we said that if the Sixers if Embiid is settling for a bunch of mid-range shots, then you know that they're pushing him and they're beating him up, and he didn't. He just dominated the paint.
The Raptors
the Sixers aren't getting. What's that?
The Raptors did. The Raptors were supposed to be the one. The Raptors were supposed to be the ones that pull Embiid out of the paint and attack the paint, and we struggle with that versatility. It was the Raptors. It was Siakam who was settling for jump shots when defending Joel Embiid, playing hero ball way too much. That was a shock to me. I did not expect that.
And there was a little Cameroon on Cameroon crime in there when Embiid and Siakam went at it, which was pretty funny. But I also, we talked about the hustle plays. And, as you know, that I used to work with the North Carolina basketball team. And in the locker room, after every game, they had a stat thing where Dean Smith would grade each player on hustle plays. They would get points for savvy, diving for loose balls, taking charges. And it's those hustle plays that tell me in the first 5-10 minutes of the game how engaged and ready the Sixers are. And what did we see? We saw them getting to every loose ball, not turning the ball over, as you mentioned. And then if the Sixers deliver that kind of effort, I saw James Harden diving for loose balls. It was fantastic. If we see that again, it's going to be an easy game. If not, then my anxiety comes back out.
Yeah, that was another strength of Toronto, was how they they beat you on all the little things, the discipline, the fundamentals, the hustle plays. The Sixers had 5 loose balls compared to the Raptors 4. Like, there's really not an area that
they out-Raptored the Raptors.
They did, which was that's been transition defense. We've been talking about it ad nauseum as Sixers fans. Like, that's been their biggest issue for a long, long time. The Raptors didn't really get anything going in transition until the second half. They didn't really get anything going on the offensive glass until the second half. Like, it was just dominance. It was complete dominance. So, yeah. I'm going to need confident, Mike. I hate being this confident.
I'm not. I'm not going to let you be this confident. I'm going to preach anxiety right now. But I just need somebody to help me, whether you want to tweet at me or put it in the comments right now. What is the dinosaur that can kick the shit out of the Velociraptor? I don't know which one. There's one of them that I don't know who beats who, whether, Brontosaurus, T-Rex. One of them can beat the Velociraptor. That's where our focus needs to be. It's all about the dinosaurs today. It's all about that.
All right.
This is the analysis you get on this show.
Spinosaurus. One of those new, terribly genetic new ones from the Jurassic World.
I think it's a Maxisaurus.
Maxisaurus? I'm down for that. We have Ankylosaurus. I don't even know this. We are off the rails right now.
We are way off. I got to get my bourbon and get ready for this game.
That's where I'm going right after this.
Absolutely. It's an old-fashioned day.
Man, now you're speaking to me, man. Speaking to me. That's my favorite drink.
Basil Hayden.
I just do. Was it 4? Oh, I don't know. Four Rivers. What is it called? I'm drawing a blank. It's a type of whiskey.
For me, it's Basil Hayden is the first choice. Then I'll do some Bullet. I could do some Evan Williams if I need to, or Woodbridge. Any of those work fine. Maker's Mark is if it's the last choice, but it still works.
Kevin says, I must say I'm very scared for some moments in the third there, especially when we got to 11 and 12. Yeah, I mean, that was when Tyrese Maxey took over. James Harden took over with his passing. We don't talk enough about how good James Harden was facilitating and setting up his teammates there. Philly Sports Talk Podcast says, what's good, guys? What is going on, man? Thank you so much for joining.
What's up, guys?
Modog he says, I have a 4-year-old daughter. She knows about the dinosaurs.
I got a lot of dinosaur comments. This is awesome.
Yeah, says who's ready for a beer ride? Oh my god!
I'm gonna leave that one alone. I had HR stuff all day at work. I can't be talking about that, can I?
Oh, that's true. That's true. No, it's too early. I need a drink for that. I need at least 2 drinks for that one. I'm still waiting for the injury report. Haven't seen anything yet. That should be dropping at probably any moment. Oh, Yams has been a bartender for 15 years. I'll make you the best old fashions, dude. Name it. I'm there. Man. Plug
we'll
that.
Do a
stuff.
Live podcast at your place. Let's do it, man.
Oh man, they're the best.
Why haven't we done a live podcast drinking old fashions? That's the next thing we got to do.
You know, I've definitely the older I've become, the more appreciative I've become of whiskey and vodka. I've kind of left the IPAs and
beer's too much work.
Yeah, I left it in the dust, man. It's all about the whiskey. It's all about the bourbon. Every now and then I'll have a scotch, but that's very rare. But definitely the vodka. I'm more of a craft. You know, I need a nice drink. I need a nice mixed drink.
Well, I'm going to take care of you then, because I'm definitely a bourbon guy. See right behind you there. I got my Johnny Walker. I got all the Johnny Walkers behind me. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's plenty of whiskey. That's where it is, man. Just a nice 1 ice cube, a nice pour, the remote control, the Sixers on one TV, the Phillies on the other. Let's go.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. I'm trying to get a whiskey pun in here. Glenn Levitt Rivers is going to dominate Nick Nurse tonight, and the Sixers will win. I'll go 115 to 110. This will be a much closer game compared to game 1. I think Tyrese Maxey, I'm going to just double down on Tyrese Maxey again as my player of the game, just like game 1. I just see no way the Raptors are going to be able to stay in front of that guy. I think the Sixers I expect the Sixers to take it to the Raptors and be the aggressors rather than, stand on their heels. So they can't do that.
My anxiety, but I'm calling Embiid 40 and 10 tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he thought it was great. We got the win, but I think Maxey had a little too much spotlight for him the last 2 days. I think he needs to take it back. I think there's that in his brain right now.
Love it, man. Love it. We have Capone says, I'm rocking some Victory IPAs tonight.
Nice.
Carry us for 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll get my whiskey.
Oh man. So I definitely, what's your name there? Yamrams? I can't even say it right. You are the bartender. I am definitely down for you taking care of me on some drinks, but give us a shout out too. What is your drink of choice tonight? I mean, the bourbon is good to go. Oh, is that Woodford Reserve?
Yeah, we're going some Woodford Reserve, maybe an ice cube or two. But
hey, so let me give you a story about that.
All right, let's go.
So I'm in sales. The day job is sales, and I fly around the country, and I'm a sales director, and I meet with different reps and things. And I had a rep pick me up at the airport in Lexington, and was like, "All right, we're going to work today, but about 3:00, I have a surprise for you." She took me right to Woodford Reserve, and we had a bourbon tasting. Fantastic. Highly recommend it.
Oh, it's a delicious bourbon. It's excellent. Just sip on it. That's like my. I guess I don't know. Is that an old man thing to say?
No.
I appreciate.
No. It's a good thing to say.
Yam says if you use bourbon, go heavy on bitters, light on sugar. I've been using Nika Japanese coffee distilled whiskey for my old fashions and use lemon bitters. You know what I came up? We had an Easter party and one of my relatives had black coffee whiskey. You ever hear of that?
I have not, but it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I mean peanut butter whiskey.
I love whiskey.
Oh, we have Yam saying I'm a whiskey man. Japan is where it's at for me right now. Love it. Capone says, I got some gentleman Jack in the cabinet if the mood strikes. Yeah, we have
definitely a gentleman Jack guy. Definitely a gentleman Jack guy. But that's a little more summer for me.
All right, what's your prediction? I'm going 115, 110, Sixers W. What about you?
All right, so I've been whining the whole game that I'm nervous about it, but damn it, you got me turned around. I'm going I'm going Sixers. It's going to be a little bit more defense today. I'm going Sixers 109, Raptors 103.
Love it. Who's your player of the game?
Joel Embiid, 40
and 10. That's right, 40 and 10. That's right. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Do you have any final thoughts and plugs before we wrap this up?
No plugs, man. Just can't wait to come back and you know what? I'm not on the post-game show, but I'm definitely going to give you guys a shout out telling you all the things I was right about. And if I'm wrong, I'm probably going to blow it off.
All right. Mike Scott, Joel Embiid for player of the game. I'm doubling down on Tyrese Maxey. Another big game from Tyrese Maxey. It's going to be a ton of fun. Guys, we'll be doing a post-game show right when the clock hits 0. And quick plug for, we're almost a week away from the NFL draft. We'll be doing an NFL draft watch party, 130 plus video scouting reports, highlight reels, ready to go on draft night. And if you love the NFL draft, this is the place to know about every pick, every reaction, every analysis. It's all going to be here, man. I promise you, we know what we're talking about. So you don't want to miss that. That'll on draft night. We'll do day 1 watch parties. Day 2 on Friday night we'll do watch parties. Day 3 probably not going to do a watch party, but there'll be a ton of videos on the Eagles draft and everything else. So it's going to be a ton of fun.
I got a football plug.
Yeah, go ahead.
A football plug.
Do it, man.
Coming up on the Killing Me Smalls podcast, we've got Mike McCartney, former Eagles assistant GM, who is the agent for Aiden Hutchinson, as well as Iquanu, 2 of the top 5 picks in the draft. He'll be joining us. Looks like we may have Peter Schrager back, Mike Sando from The Athletic. So some pretty good guests coming. Working on Mike Garafolo as well.
Love it, man. That's you're a beast, man. I don't know how you do that. You're a monster. He is Mike Small. Go check out his podcast, Killing Me Small's podcast. Anywhere you hear at the Painted Lines YouTube channel or anywhere you find your podcast. Cody says, good evening. Y'all ready for a dub? We are ready for a dub. The Sixers will win tonight. The Sixers will win tonight. Yam says his name is Tyrese Maximus Decimus Meridius. Love it, man.
I love that.
Yeah. The center is definitely going to be the Coliseum tonight. I can't imagine how much that's going to be rocking, man. It's going to be absolutely insane.
I thought about going tonight, but then, a bourbon and a chance to talk to you and sit on my couch ended up winning.
Love it, man. I would be down there too if I could, but yeah, I'd rather hang out with my 2-year-old.
Wait till the next round.
Yeah, exactly. Capone says Tyrese doesn't know how to be nervous. He's stepped up in every single big moment, big stage, his entire Sixers career. I'm going to die on that hill, man. I'm putting all my money into Tyrese Maxey right now. I guarantee you he gets at least 20 points tonight. At least.
Have you ever heard anybody say they don't love that kid?
I know. He's so much fun to watch.
And I've never seen teammates react to one player. They all love him.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. It's great. And I'm so glad he's on the Sixers.
I know.
Thank you, Mike Muscala.
For real. Exactly. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here. We will see you on the post-game show. Sixers get the W tonight. Let's freaking go. Follow my man Mike on Twitter. For Mike, for myself, stay awesome, everyone.